What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and we have lots of news, stories and information for you guys. Paul Joyce has confirmed that Liverpool are interested in Darwin Nunez, the prolific striker who scored 35 goals for Benfica, and he's valued at around 50 to maybe 60 million pounds, and Liverpool are looking to sign a classic out-and-out striker. That's why we have been linked with Lewandowski and Darwin Nunez. Liverpool won't sign him at any cost, but we are definitely interested in his services. And also later on in this video we will talk about Bayern Munich finally submitting a very low, like 28 million pound bid for Sadio Mane, and that Liverpool definitely rejected that. Sadio Mane is worth a lot more than that, even with 1 year left on his contract. The reason why Bayern Munich offered that amount is that Liverpool signed Thiago, who also had 1 year left on his contract, for around 30 million. But Thiago in his last 2 years at Bayern Munich weren't really a regular starter at Bayern. He played like 60-65% of the Bayern Munich games. But Sadio Mane is one of the first names on Liverpool's team sheet, and he also is a 20 goal a season player on average. He scored 120 goals in 6 seasons for Liverpool, and I think he's worth a lot more, at least 40-45 million. And Liverpool, they might wonder, is it worth selling Mane if Bayern are not offering us more than 30 million, or is it worth more if we keep him and maybe win the Premier League or the Champions League next season with Sadio Mane in the side, and then he leaves on a free transfer? I would urge Liverpool not to do that, because Mo Salah might do that as well. He might leave on a free transfer, and to replace 2 players in one transfer window, Mane and Salah, with the amount of goals that they scored for Liverpool, it's almost an impossible task. And Manchester United are also interested in Darwin Nunez, but Darwin Nunez is definitely, he wants Champions League football. Why would he go to Manchester United apart from them paying him a huge salary? But the Man United are an absolute mess, and yes, they might have a really good coach now in Erik ten Hag, but they are still a mess, and they had just their worst season in like 25 years. So I think if Liverpool are interested in Darwin Nunez, he would choose Liverpool ahead of Manchester United 10 out of 10 times. So guys, if you enjoy these transfer news updates on Liverpool FC, make sure to subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you never miss the daily updates that I will do on my channel all throughout the transfer window, so you guys can keep up to date with all the fresh new information. And Darwin Nunez is only 22 years old, but he scored 34 goals in 40 games for Benfica, and Liverpool understand that there is value to be found in the Portuguese league. Luis Diaz has been a huge success for Liverpool since he signed. He came in and he actually forced Diogo Jota out of the starting 11, which was a real shame, because when Mane and Salah were at the Africa Cup of Nations, Jota was the player banging the goals for Liverpool, keeping them in the cup competitions, keeping them ticking over in the Premier League. And I think next season both Jota and Diaz will have a massive part to play, but Darwin Nunez could come in. With Liverpool having so many chances, Darwin Nunez would score easily 20 goals in his first season, and he's only 22 years old. Jurgen Klopp will definitely improve him if he signs for Liverpool. And he also overperformed regularly his expected goals numbers, which means that he's a brilliant finisher. He scores more goals from the chances that he gets than what you would expect from a normal striker. But Darwin Nunez is not a normal striker. He can play in the number 9 position very well. He scored so many of his chances. He scored 6 goals in the Champions League in 10 games. He scored both home and away against Liverpool. How many players can do that? Also, he scored a hat-trick at Anfield. 2 of those goals were disallowed for offsides, but that just showed that when he had the chances, even against the Liverpool defense, even against one of the best goalkeepers, Alisson, he was absolutely clinical, lethal in front of goal. And what caught my eye about Darwin Nunez is that his work rate, his pressing, he was constantly running and busting a gut to get to the defenders. And also when he got the chance, he took his chance very well. He looked like an elite striker, even though he is young. he played with the maturity beyond his years, so I think that Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp are big fans of him, definitely. And I think Liverpool Football Club is the place to be. 3 Champions League finals in 5 seasons. We won every domestic trophy possible. We won the Champions League, we won the European Super Cup, we won the Club World Cup, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and Liverpool are building to even improve. Even if Sadio Mane leaves for Bayern Munich, we are looking to improve. We are looking to replace Mane and also sign even more great players. And Man United didn't really win a major trophy in the last decade. They haven't won a trophy in like 6 or 5 years, and they have only won the Europa League and the FA Cup, and no Premier League, no Champions League trophy for 10 years. You know, they also spent a lot of money on worthless, useless players with no heart and desire to play for Man United properly, and also they had 6 managers in these last 10 years. So at Liverpool you have stability, you have Champions League football, you have a club, you know, worth the trajectory is going up and up, and I think that Jurgen Klopp tries to bring through the next generation of players. You already saw with Diogo Jota, with Luis Diaz. Now we signed Fabio Carvalho, we signed other young players as well, Ben Doak from Celtic. So Liverpool are trying to build for the future as well as maintain a very, very good world-class core of players. But if you surround the experienced players with hungry young players with great potential, then you have a recipe for, you know, building a club again to have the next generation of great players coming through. Because at Liverpool we don't sign superstars really, we make them, and apart from Alisson and Van Dijk and maybe Thiago, nobody really was a superstar when we signed to them. We made them superstars. We made Mane, Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold and other players into absolute superstars. And if a footballer is ambitious right now, why would you pick Manchester United? Because since Ferguson retired, Man United have finished outside of the top 4 like 5 times in 10 years. They also haven't gotten within 10 points of a league title, so even when they finished second, they were miles off the pace, and they weren't even close to getting to a Champions League final, never mind 3 Champions League finals in the case of Liverpool. So I think it's a no-brainer for Darwin Nunez to choose Liverpool over Manchester United at the moment. And Paul Joyce is reporting that Liverpool have turned down Bayern Munich's opening bid for Sadio Mane, and it was a pretty much a joke of a bid with £21 million guaranteed plus another £4 or £5 million in payable add-ons, which would equate to around £25-26 million. That's a joke of a transfer fee for Sadio Mane, who is, as I said, 20 goals a season on average player, and he's world class. And he was a major reason why Liverpool went to the last day of the Premier League title, still in with for the hunt of a quadruple, and one of the main reasons why we made the Champions League final was also Sadio Mane. Mane, since he came back from the Africa Cup of Nations. He scored 12 goals in the second half of the season. He scored in both Champions League semi-finals, and also he scored in the FA Cup semi-final against Man City. And also he was basically the main player carrying Liverpool on his back when Mane hit a little bit of a cold spell. That happens. Mane had such a hot streak in the first half of the season that eventually it would cool down a little bit. It maybe cooled down a little bit too much for our liking, but you know, Sadio Mane was absolutely vital for Liverpool. So Bayern Munich, if they think that Liverpool will just sell Mane on a cheap because Mane wants to leave and because, you know, he has 1 year left on his contract, then they should think again, because Liverpool are really notoriously very tough negotiators in the transfer market, and we always try to get maximum value for the players that leave Liverpool. And I mean, those 4 million add-ons, potential add-ons, they would only kick in if Bayern Munich won the Champions League. Something that is possible because they are always one of the contenders, but it's not a guarantee, it's not a certainty. So Bayern really thought that Liverpool would accept the 21 million base fee for Sadio Mane. They are fools if they thought that. Also, according to Paul Joyce, James Milner is very close to agreeing a new 1 year contract with significantly reduced wages. I think that's a great thing. Milner already earned his fair share. I think he doesn't really need the money, and he just wants to be around the Liverpool squad, fighting for trophies. And I think he's also a great man in the dressing room, a great leader. He's one of our captains, and I think for a reduced wages it makes sense for Liverpool to sign James Milner for another year, and maybe he will transition into a coaching role in his next 3 or 4 years. So I'm a big fan of James Milner sticking around for another year, because he's a brilliant role model for the young players, and he's also a very experienced captain, one of the captains in the Liverpool dressing room, one of the leaders. I know Henderson is our first choice captain, but Milner, Van Dijk, Alisson, and now Robertson is also a leader in the dressing room. Trent Alexander-Arnold is maturing into a leader in the future as well. So you can't have too many leaders in the dressing. And I think if Bayern really want to do the deal for Mane, give us Lewandowski or give us Serge Gnabry, and let's talk that way. Because Bayern Munich don't want to sell Lewandowski until they find a replacement. Liverpool don't want to sell Mane until they find a replacement. So why not just swap the two players? I think that would be a great deal for Liverpool, getting Lewandowski for Sadio Mane. And I think even Bayern should pay on top of giving us Lewandowski, because Lewandowski is 33 years old and Mane is 30. So Lewandowski is worth a little bit less than Mane. Of course, he's probably the better finisher, scoring 50 goals in the past, regularly in the past 3 or 4 seasons. But still, he's 3 years older, so maybe give us 10 million plus Lewandowski, and then you can have Sadio Mane. That would be my saying to Bayern Munich. And not only did Mane get 120 goals in 6 seasons for Liverpool, he also got 48 assists. So he on average gets almost 10 assists a season, 8 assists a season. That's pretty amazing, to be honest. And I think Bayern should pay at least 35, maybe even 40 million for Sadio Mane if they really want to sign him. The problem with the Darwin Nunez transfer is that because Manchester United are interested, Benfica will probably try and get a bidding war between the two clubs, and Man United are desperate for a really good striker, so they will pay over the odds for Darwin Nunez. They would bid something like 70 million, and then Benfica would accept that, and Liverpool wouldn't match Man United's offer, and they probably wouldn't match Man United's wage or salary offer for Darwin Nunez either, because Man United are just paying crazy wages to players. Jadon Sancho is on something like more than what Mo Salah is on, or Virgil van Dijk is on, and they didn't really do much. He's on more than £300,000 per week, and I heard that David De Gea is on crazy wages. Ronaldo is on almost £500,000 weekly wages. To be honest, that's justified. Ronaldo earned that. But Jadon Sancho, there is no way he should be earning 380 or 350,000 pounds per week. And I think at this point Liverpool might be hoping that Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or AC Milan would come in with a bigger offer for Sadio Mane. That would be interesting if Paris Saint-Germain bid something like 35 million for Mane. Then I would wonder what would Bayern Munich do. I really think that this is an insulting offer, to offer 21 million for Sadio Mane. Are you having a laugh? Are you out of your minds, Bayern Munich? There is no way that you have this little money. They just try to open up negotiations with a very low offer. Sometimes big clubs do this, but there is no way Liverpool would sell Mane for this little money. So I think that they will sit down with each other and they will probably come to a compromise. Maybe 30-35 million would be enough to persuade Liverpool to sell Sadio Mane to Bayern. And Fabrizio Romano said that my understanding is that Liverpool will definitely look to replace Sadio Mane if he leaves, and they will try to sign a big attacker to replace Mane. But until then, I wouldn't pay too much attention to some of the speculation we have seen, including recent rumors involving Christian Pulisic and Rafinha being targets for Jurgen Klopp. Probably Liverpool are having bigger targets than that. No disrespect to Pulisic and Rafinha. I don't think Pulisic is good enough for Liverpool. He showed that at Chelsea, couldn't even get a regular starting place at Chelsea, and Liverpool have a better squad than Chelsea and a better starting 11, as evident by the big gap between the two clubs in the Premier League. And I think Rafinha is a decent player, good player, but he's nowhere near the caliber of world-class player that we need at Liverpool. So I think our main targets are Lewandowski, Darwin Nunez and Kunku, those kind of caliber of players who can easily bang in 20-30 goals regularly every season when they play for Liverpool. And according to Bild reporter, Bild is a German newspaper, pretty credible, and the reporter said Bayern wanted to send a respectful sign to Liverpool with this offer and hope for a concession from Liverpool, because the Thiago deal in 2020, like Mane, former Bayern Munich player, he also had 1 year left on his contract, and that negotiation went smoothly. The transfer fee at that time was roughly the same as the current offer for Sadio Mane. I think that's wrong. The offer was a little bit more from Liverpool for Thiago, and I would consider Sadio Mane a more important player right now for Liverpool than Thiago was at that time for Bayern Munich. So I think Liverpool should ask for just a little bit more, maybe 10 million. That will do the trick. Another 10 million on top of the original offer. I think Liverpool would accept that. And it looks like Mo Salah was injured during the Champions League final. So he played the game injured because there were tests saying that Salah is not fully fit before Egypt's game against Guinea. But Salah insisted to play the game, and now journalists saying is that Mo Salah will undergo a test, and Mo Salah didn't play the Champions League final fully fit, so he was carrying an injury. And it's amazing what a performance he put in. He had really two big chances which he should have scored from if it wasn't for Courtois having a world-class day. And Liverpool actually asked Egypt to rest Mo Salah in the Guinea match, so close to the Champions League final, and also him carrying a knock, but Salah really wanted to play, and now it looks like he has an injury which he will be tested for, and then we will find out how long he's out for. But he can be out for a month, and he will be still back before pre-season, because Liverpool have a 1.5 month break now. But it's still really concerning that Salah wanted to play for Egypt even though he's injured. It just shows his utter commitment and professionalism towards his national team. He loves the national team, and he really wanted them to succeed in the Africa Cup of Nations and qualifying for the World Cup, but they didn't, and now Salah will get a good rest during the season when everybody else or a lot of other players go to the World Cup. Liverpool actually have quite a few players who will stay behind at Liverpool and not go to the World Cup, either because their country didn't qualify or because they aren't selected for the national team. So Liverpool will have a good squad of players who will be rested for the second half of the Premier League season, and that will be a good thing, because hopefully our title rivals, Man City, Chelsea, I think those will be our main title rivals in November. They will have a lot of players at the World Cup, and those players will be coming back exhausted, and they will be probably rested for the first two Premier League games, or the first Premier League games after the World Cup finishes, and that could hopefully result in them dropping points, Liverpool taking advantage, but that's still a long way away. First, I wanted to give you guys the latest updates on the Liverpool transfer situation. And Fabrizio Romano said that Mane is ready to reach a personal agreement with Bayern Munich. That's not an issue, but there's still no agreement between Bayern and Liverpool on the potential fee. Talks between the two clubs will continue in the next few days. I think Liverpool will only sell Mane if they get a decent transfer fee for him, and also when they have somebody lined up. So when we announce that Mane is leaving, we want to announce a big player coming in, maybe straight away or maybe a few days later. So Liverpool don't want to just sit on their hands and not do anything. So it will be interesting how this unfolds, and I will keep you guys updated. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day, see you later, good night.